Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Surbhi Kumar, and I am the founder and chief mentor at the Dreamcatchers. So, just like our every other webinar, again, I do see our few of our regular joinees in terms of who have been joining our admission insight session. So, you of course know me, but we received few new registrations as well. So I would just like to take this opportunity to briefly introduce my firm, the Dreamcatchers, and how we help students through our services. So we are an independent education consulting firm and we are based out of Mumbai, India. Our mission is pretty straightforward and simple that we really want to assist students in realizing their dream of obtaining quality and best fit education. Though we have been based out of Mumbai, but we have been able to serve students pan India and also in Middle East as well. Just to give you some, information around our broad services. So we have two segments. One is the career guidance related one, and other is the admission guidance related one. So particularly for career guidance, as many of you, I know, like your students, and we have few parents as well, that uh, when a child enters grade ninth, right, they have a lot of subject choices these days, right? Be it international board, IB or Cambridge, and other upcoming ones as well, or be it even national boards, ICSC, and to an extent CBSE too. Kids are getting a lot of options in terms of subjects to choose from. Now, sometimes it becomes a problem of plenty, and I would say for majority who hasn't really decided that which career path they would want to take, they would want some kind of hand holding and guidance to make that decision right. So, what we do is we generally start with the psychometric assessment test, but again, it is something which after having a conversation with the student and the family, then only we decide whether we will administer a psychometric assessment test or not. And it's a very simple and straightforward plus a scientific way to really understand what are the aptitude or what are the aptitudes of that child. And there are five lenses through which the aptitude is looked into. What are the fundamental personality traits? What are their formational work interest areas as well? So that can become a good starting point, and then through our individualized and personalized guidance session, we get into helping the student really discover few of the career paths and career trajectories, and then work backwards in terms of what subjects might make most sense during the high school to study as such. And again, to reach a specific career or to pursue a specific career or career track, honestly, in today's time there are multiple educational pathways to reach the same career outcome. So we also expose the student through these sessions about that too. And of course we have our own other exercises as well, which really help the student to take a well informed decision. Okay, now the other segment is the admission guidance space, wherein we really work with the aspirants both in the undergrad and the postgrad space. Admissions these days, specifically if you think of it from a lens of a high schooler, has become slightly complex and nuanced, right? So if there is a mentor or a person who can handhold the student in that journey and walk the student through various steps involved, and depending on the country you are applying, the process changes. I think it is something which works beautifully and wonderfully for the student, right? Of course, how involved and invested the student and the family is, that is also something which helps in the process. So as you can see on the slide, there are gamut of services which we have mentioned, starting from as basic as profile elevation. And I know this word gets thrown out so much these days, but there is an organic way to build the profile of a student, you know thinking about their natural strengths, building on it, and depending upon the course they are thinking to study, you can look for some wonderful options for them to pursue and grow and really gauge whether they are truly interested in that course or not. Again, with so many college options, university options, and if someone is looking for studying abroad, you need to bake in a lot of factors to make the decision. That's where we come and we help in terms of best fit college and country mapping, right? It's easier to get carried away by publicly available information like the rankings, right? But you also have to understand that certain aspects of the ranking will not really impact the student directly, right? So you have to go beyond the rankings, dig deeper, and truly find what is the right fit for the student, right? And of course, depending upon the country you apply into, the process can have multiple components. Besides the standardized test, many a times it requires the child to really answer a few essay prompts or write a personal statement. That's also where we provide the guidance so that the student can put, their most authentic voice in a most compelling way, right? That is something where we support the student. Okay. And I have started to see, and this, I think this is something which many of the parents can also vouch, that even for Indian new age universities, and even depending upon the course, the process has gone beyond just the 12th grade marks and the entrance exams. There are many presentations, there are interviews, there are writing samples and whatnot, right? So that's where also a mentor's guidance really help the student to again put their most confident and well informed self in front of the admission panel as such. And of course, I can go on and on with what we offer, but let me pause here and let's get into the meat of our session today, which is what is about the New Zealand as a country. And particularly, we would want to know more about one of their, or rather their oldest university as well. So uh, I'll just give a small, a very brief, or rather few important facts which I have come across in terms of New Zealand as a country. And then I would really invite Riddhi so that we can start with our fireside chat. So as you can see on my screen, New Zealand as a country, it's ranked the third most peaceful in the world, right? We have been hearing news around safety, and this morning as well there was a news piece which came from US as well. And as parents and as students, we would want to be in a place which can provide us a peaceful stay at the minimum, right? So if I see New Zealand from that perspective, it ranks very high. uh, Preparing students for the future, again, among the English speaking country in the world, it stands number one. And in terms of graduates outcome, it has been seventh highest performing as such, right? So these are important facts for us to know, and many others as well, while we decide which country we would want to send our child to. And again, no country is absolutely great or not at all suitable. It's just that what fits us the most, right? That's how we will have to think of it as such. Now, Riddhi, I know you are here, so I would really want to welcome you again, and thank you so much for taking out time on a Sunday morning to talk to our student community and even parents as well. So the floor is yours. Let's just start with the introduction. Please introduce yourself, and then I'll start with my fireside chat questions.
So much, Silvi. Wonderful of you to have given students a bigger picture on safety and how that is one of the major concerns of parents deciding for an undergrad student who will be spending 3 or 4 years or maybe 6 years at a university. So I think that's a great start. You know my name, and I'm based in Delhi. I work with the university as a country advisor for South South Asia region. I look after marketing and recruitment for students coming into our university. As on the slide, you can also see we are New Zealand's oldest and the first university. The university culture started with Otago. We are based in the city of Dunedin, which is in the South Island. We're one of the most beautiful campuses in the world. Not in a very recent ranking, but I remember in around 2019, 2020 rankings, we were ranked the 5th most beautiful campus of the world. And now we are, I think, the 15th most photogenic campus of the world. So as you can also see behind me, I've put a background where you can see our clock tower, which is covered with pink and white flowers through and through. There's also a river Leith that flows right before this building, and it is a beautiful campus to be at. Also one of the biggest campuses in New Zealand, where we host around 22,000 students overall. The city of Dunedin is a student town, so you can expect a lot of hustle bustle in the city because they're all students. We are one of the youngest populated cities in New Zealand, so you'll have the maximum number of youth in and around Dunedin. So I think that kind of also helps students make friends easily because everybody is, at par with your age. There are a lot of part-time roles that students can look into because, the demography understands that it's all students who are coming from Otago who will be in the city area. We're right in the heart of the city, so you're not secluded in a campus, which takes a while to get back to the city, but we're right in the city area, so you can walk up down to wherever and whichever place you want to in the city. As a university, we're ranked 2nd in New Zealand and 197th in the world. This is by QS World Rankings. That is one of the rankings that we are ranked from. And besides this, there are also other rankings of the university's programs. I can see Surabhi has mentioned some academic divisions. These are the major academic divisions at the university, within which you have about 200 plus specializations or subject areas you can study at the university. So there are 200 programs that you can do within these. For example, in commerce, you could specialize into finance or accounting or economics or entrepreneurship, leadership, marketing, etc. Health sciences, we are known for our medical school. We're known for our dental school. So we have one of the best facilities on campus and in the country for our medicine program, which is 6 years, comes under our health sciences faculty. Dental is only offered at Otago. So if you're somebody who's looking to become a dentist, you have to come to Otago because we're the only one who offers it. And we have one of the best facilities around the world as well. Our dentistry program ranks in the top 40 universities of the world. So it's not just because we don't have anybody else in the race of ranking in New Zealand, we're still, ranked under 40 universities of the world. So you're coming to one of the best institutions. In humanities, we have courses in law, teaching, political sciences, history, literature, all sorts of language programs. Social sciences would be that. Sciences is one of our largest faculties, which has a lot to do with research. So you have concentrations in biology, chemistry, but along with that, you would also have computer sciences, biotech, bioengineering. So a lot to do with research-oriented programs that possibly would lead into a career path in research or at, companies, organizations that are, well-rounded in terms of research and hands-on work. So it depends, on person to person as to what kind of inclination you have towards education. And just so you know, you don't have to decide all of that right now. You just have to understand what a university is all about. You can make all of those decisions once you're on campus. You can decide whether academic rigor is one thing that you would want to go with, or a research pathway. So you don't have to decide that right now. I'm just giving you options. These are some things that are available at the university. And yeah, that's going to be a little bit of a starting point of Otago. And yeah, looking forward to the fireside questions that Surbi has planned for us.
Great. Thank you so much, Riddhi, for the introduction and the overview of the university. So, I just want to mention to the participants here that given this is running in webinar mode, so if you have any questions, you can put it in the chat box and I'll ask it to Riddhi on your behalf. And if you would want to ask it live, just mention it and I will enable your settings accordingly. Having said that, Riddhi, I just want first to have the students and parents here get a bigger picture around why should a student from India consider studying in New Zealand. I personally know that there are certain advantages, but if you can tell us more about why New Zealand.
Right. Thank you. That's a valid question, I feel, because a lot of, our family members or, our cousins or friends, have been into an inclination towards the Western part of the world. And sometimes, what's happening in Southern Hemisphere, we don't even know. So, well, to begin with, I do want to reiterate where New Zealand is. We're in the Oceania continent, and we're down in the Southern Hemisphere. We're very close to a big country, Australia. We are one of the most culturally strong communities in the world, where our indigenous people are very much involved in societal or in the society perhaps. So I just want to start off from, what educational space brings, what educational space in New Zealand brings to you. So we are about 8 universities in New Zealand. So it's a small, number of universities because we are less number of people. We're about 50 lakh or 5 million people that are there in New Zealand. So it is a small group of people that you're looking at. And for them, 8 universities suffice. All of the universities are ranked in the top 2% of universities of the world. So all are ranked within 500 rankings of QS World Ranking. So you can understand, even with a generalized or a generic ranking system by QS, you can actually Google that and see for yourself that what is a QS ranking and what is it based on. It's based on student perception and student review. So it is not that the university gives a ranking to itself. It's actually students who give rankings to the university. So you should know that all of the universities are ranked within top 500 universities of the world. I just want to make a small comparison here because most of my also family members have studied in the US. So US alone has about 4,000 universities. So we're incomparable to the number of universities that are there in the world. So you can see and understand that New Zealand universities are very, very highly ranked. And with that comes, a very immense academic excellence that brings, you closer to an academically strong person when you graduate from a university. Second point of why or what New Zealand offers a student is, the fact that Surbi was mentioning about safety and peace. I feel when you're studying abroad, one of the key factors is, of course, whether it's going to be safe, whether it's going to be, okay if I'm going by myself, or, what are my future prospects. I would want to highlight a little bit on everything. Safety wise, we're ranked between 2nd and 3rd place in the world as a country. It is one of the most safest countries of the world. And not just with crime or people safety, but it's also with the kind of animals or insects or things that we have. We don't have any carnivorous animals in the country. So I would want to take safety at a larger perspective. Of course, human beings, safety from human beings is the utmost, but also we don't have any kind of carnivorous animals or spiders or snakes. We don't have any of those. So you could be stranded in the forest, and nothing's going to come and eat you or touch you, or nothing is going to be there. So you can be rest assured that you're in a safer place. Also that coming down to a smaller group at the university level, we have something called campus police, which is also called a campus watch. This is for all students at our campus, and this was started when we found that there is a larger concern of international students, that we are coming in from different parts of the world, and in our societies or in our communities, safety is measured in different aspects. Like, for example, I'm from Delhi, and in Delhi, if it's past 8:30, even I'm a little concerned about getting back home. So just the darkness, just the evening causes a concern for me. But in some parts of the world, maybe there is something else. So everybody is coming with their own kinds of safety measures they would want to take up. So we have something called a pastoral care code, which keeps all of our international students as priority at the university in terms of everything: academics, support services, or pastoral, or this particular campus watch. So even though this is for everyone, but our international students are the utmost priority on campus, and there is a full-fledged code that the university has to follow. And now with this particular pastoral care code, this is being followed by all other universities as well. So this is something we really take pride in, that we started off with something like that, and now it's been practiced by all other universities. So that would be my second point after rankings, which is a safety measure that at a larger perspective, the country takes in, and in the smaller, perspective, the university takes care of it. The third would be, what are you doing in terms of, graduating from the university? What after plans, do you have? So New Zealand offers a very lucrative stay back option, which is of 3 years for a degree program after a degree program. So if you're graduating from a bachelor's degree, you would get a 3 years of stay back by Immigration New Zealand. So you can stay back in the country, find yourself a job, get involved in any kind of job prospect or volunteer or any kind of work that you aspire for, open a business, etc. So that is some kind of, I think, stability or assurance that the country offers you, that of course you spent 3 years in the country doing a program, spent money, stayed away from family, and now is the time that you can explore other options like working, opening a business, also eventually staying back for longer, getting a permanent residency, etc. So there are options to explore like that, and I feel if a country is able to offer you all these three, I think it's a great option, which is first rankings, how well the universities are ranked. Second is safety. And third would be, what are my options after I graduate? So these are my 3 points for what New Zealand offers.
Thank you so much for that, Riddhi. And if I can add one thing from my end, which is like, I consider New Zealand as a hidden gem, and I'll actually tell you a backstory around it. So somewhere last year, I was intensively researching for marine biology courses for one of my students, and the family was open to any country where the program is the best, right? And that's when I landed at like New Zealand as a destination, and of course, like University of Auckland came up, University of Otago came up, and other as well out of that top, rather 8 universities. So that's where I decided that given we run these admission insights sessions, that parents need to know about these destinations. Of course, like certain destinations are good for certain courses, and may not be the right one for others, right? But that's my story of finding out New Zealand as one destination too for marine biology program.
Yeah. I mean, we're an island country,
Okay,
so I'm glad
with
you
that,
found out. Yeah.
yeah, I think naturally it is the right fit because of the resources which are there for that specific
Absolutely.
program.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's dive deeper into the university specific aspects itself. So, if you can walk us through the admission process, what are the important components, and other aspects like what are the intakes available, which are the prominent ones to consider specifically by Indian families.
Right. Thank you. Well, for admission criteria or when is the best time to apply, when is the time to come into the university, I'll explain all of that to you. As a Southern Hemisphere university, our climate is completely opposite to what's happening here in the Northern Hemisphere. Like we're transitioning into winters, you can see sweatshirts and stuff, at least in the northern part of India. Well, in Southern Hemisphere, in New Zealand and Australia alike, we're transitioning into summers. So summers, is when you're spending your Christmas and New Year's, very, very unlike the idea of Christmas and snow together. So as comparable as you would want to make it with the western part of the world, which is also in the northern hemisphere. And coming back to New Zealand, where the climate is completely opposite. Our timelines for application and admission are also a little different. So our major intake is not the fall, is not September or August. It is actually February, because February is the time which is our fall, where you're transitioning in from summers to spring. So it's not technically fall, but like it is the best season to come in, and it is one of the best times that you can adjust and get acclimatized with the weather and the country, because it's it's greener, it's vibrant, and it's summers. It's not summers like India, like 40-50 degrees that happens every year, but it's still around 30-35, where you can easily go around. It's an island country, so it's very breezy. So yeah, so the main intake that students choose to come in would be February. So it will be after 4 or 5 months of you completing your class 12th, not before that. So you can't just come in or be like, I'm completing 12 this year, so I would start in February. Doesn't work like that. So once you're done in May, that's when you start your application process with all your results, all of your transcripts, everything that you've received from school or the board of examination that you're taking. You could come in February. So this is typically for CBSE, ICSE, or state board students. For IB curriculum, you usually close around August, or depends actually which exam you're taking up. So if it's August or September, you can also come in February, because our applications will be open till November 15th. So that's the timeline of application till when you can apply. And that's one major intake that we offer. But let's say you don't want to till February to come in to the university, you can actually post in your predicted scores as in when they have come in. So let's say now when your predicteds have been released, if you're in class 12th and you'll be completing May 2026, you can complete your application by March or April and come in July. So that's going to be a little bit of a tight pack, for you, because you'll be completing your board exams or your tests and then get your results in May and then come in July. But all of your application requirements, your processes will be done by April, most likely, and then you can apply for visa. So there are 2 times of the year that we have our opening for the intake. So there are 2 times of the year that students can come in. flexibly if you would want to, like comfortably if you want to start with your application process and your visa process, I think February would be the best time to do that. February intake would be the best intake to choose from, and applications you can start as and when you have your results. Otherwise, July is also another option that you can take in. The second part of the question was, what is the admission criteria? Well, most New Zealand universities base their admissions on merit only. So it is completely what you have scored in your class 11th and 12th. We base our decision on 12th only, not 11th, but we do need your certificates from 10th onwards to just see how consistent performance have you had so far in the past 2-3 years. We can also, as a university, as Otago, we can also waive off your IELTS or English proficiency requirement because I understand all boards, you would be taking up English as a subject. So if you're able to score more than 70 out of 100 in English, you can, stop worrying about your English proficiency and you don't have to take a test. So it'll be waived off completely by the university's admission team. And it's only your grades afterwards, like 10th, 11th, and 12th, that will be considered for an admission at the university. There is nothing else. You don't have to write an SOP or submit letters of recommendation, nothing at all. So it is a very simple process. You just upload your documents and you're done. That is it. There's no other stage of application for your program, that is. So we can talk about scholarships, I think, as and when we have the question around that. So, yep.
And I have received one question from Mehek. It is around SAT. Do you consider SAT at all, or is it like kind of totally overlooked? What's the policy there?
Yeah, we do not look into SATs or ACTs. We don't have that as a requirement at all. In fact, even with English proficiency, we're waiving off IELTS requirement if you've studied English and scored more than 70. So certainly, there is no requirement of SATs from us. So no other competitive exams are to be given by the student to qualify to apply to the university.
Okay, there is another question, Riddhi, from Pratap. For medical, do we have to give any exams?
Good question. So for medicine, we do have a lengthier process. So I will just take a moment to explain that. It is a 6-year program. Every student, whether they're coming into a medicine program or dentistry program or physiotherapy, pharmacy or medical laboratory, any of these 5 specializations, you have to come into our health sciences first year general program. So after the first year general program, our specializations open up to students. So once you're selected after the first year into a medicine program, only then you take up UCAT, not before that. So you don't have to apply and keep your UCAT scores before you come into the university. Even if your mindset is towards medicine alone, you will still have to take up the first year general degree, which is health science first year, that that has all subject areas around all 5 specializations that I have mentioned. So once you clear that, get a appropriate score as per requirement, only then if you're selected for medicine, you take up UCAT, not before that. So that is the process for medicine. For other specializations, we don't have a requirement of any other special test or a competitive test.
Okay, okay, got it. There was another question, but I think you already kind of answered it. For finance, no entrance exams for finance courses.
No, not at all.
Okay, let's move on to the next one, which is again around scholarships or financial aid. Or maybe before we move into that, Riddhi, if you can talk about the tuition fees and overall cost of attendance as well. If you can just give a broad picture to the parents out here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, our annual tuition fee ranges between 37,000 New Zealand dollars to 40,000 New Zealand dollars, which is around 20 lakh rupees. So that is an upper end of our first year tuition fees. Why I'm stressing on first year tuition fees is because it depends on if the student is getting into a health science program with a specialization in medicine, then the fees actually goes up to 70,000 New Zealand dollars. But if the student remains in a 3-year program, then it remains the same. So each year, the tuition expense is only 40,000 New Zealand dollars, which is 20 lakh rupees. If you compare it with any part of the world, I think it is a very competitive, very, very affordable tuition expense from a university that is ranked within 200 world ranking, second in its country, and one of the oldest universities of the world. So it is about 20 lakh per year for a 3-year undergrad, and it changes if it's a undergrad for longer duration of time. Other than this, because we are in a student town, we are in the South Island of New Zealand, we have a very affordable housing at the university. So our accommodation rate is between 7 to 10 lakh rupees per year. And that includes all amenities like food, accommodation, Wi-Fi, security, everything. So we have 15 residential colleges at the university, which are kind of societies for dorm rooms. So it's not just one building or a few buildings on campus. It's actually 15 of those small entities where students can stay. Why I'm saying entities is because you would have your own sports arena, you would have your own entertainment area, you would have your own lawns and parks and terraces. So it's very, very subject to which accommodation you choose. Some of them are right, across the road from your classrooms and your classroom academic buildings, but some of them are just like a 5-minute walk or a 7-minute walk. So everything in Dunedin is a 20-minute walk overall, like even if you're traveling from one end to the other. It's a small city, but even for our accommodations, they're quite around the campus. They're not on campus, like, because it's a linear campus like that. So it's everything's around it. And once you choose from whichever campus you would want to stay in, campus as in like the residential campus, not there's only one campus in Dunedin. So academic campus is only one, but residential communities are 15. So you can choose from there. Every student gets their own room. You get 3 times a day meal. There are dietary restrictions that we follow. For example, vegetarian, vegan, Jain, or halal meat that, if you prefer. So we have all kinds of facilities on campus too. In fact, all of our campus is halal. So there are no other, meats that are available on campus, because that's, one of the dietary concerns that we do follow. But, let's say you don't eat at all, you don't eat meat at all, or, you're concerned about fish oil or some other things, in your Chinese or other cuisines. I think this is something we do take care of a lot. And meals are provided on campus. You have snacks all the time in the food and in the dining hall. So it's all covered within the cost of accommodation, that all of these meals and entertainment centers and all of that is free of cost, because you're paying for accommodation completely. So that would be around 7 to 10 lakh rupees, depending upon what kind of room facility you choose. But if you're going for a very standard basic room, then it's going to be around 7 lakh rupees, including food, everything. So it's 20 lakhs for your degree for per year, and plus accommodation. So that is something that you can look at in terms of budget. Health insurance is a mandatory requirement, which is around $750. per year, which is for every student. They have to take up health insurance cover because, well, so that, you're at least covered, in terms of any kind of need or necessity. Books, periodicals, all of that is covered under tuition alone. You don't have other expenses at the university. In fact, now New Zealand has upped their game with part-time work. So you can actually work 25 hours in a week than the rest of the world. So you can actually work a little bit more because you'll have the time if it's a little less engaging program that you're getting yourself into, and make money for your extra like a pocket money to do other things as well. What else? Yeah, I think I've covered basically all the things required in the budget. So yeah.
Okay, thank you for that, Riddhi. And before we move to the scholarship question, there are two questions which has come up. So let's take that first. So first one is from Tripti. She's asking, is it 3-year program or 4-year program?
Well, it depends. Which program are you talking about? Because we have 3-year, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. So you'll have to tell me which course you're interested in.
So Tripti, do you want to go? Okay, for economics and finance.
Oh, it's 3 years. It's a 3-year program.
Okay. Thanks for that, Riddhi. And so I have received. Okay, so Milan. I don't know if I understand the question. Okay, so I think, and Milan, correct me if I'm wrong here, but he's trying to ask that for CBSE, do you take predicted grades? I think you touched upon predicted grades for international books.
Yeah. No,
okay, fine. So let me move on to. Okay. Let's move on to the scholarship or financial aids. What is the availability for international students, and what's the process? What do you consider?
Yeah. So, well, we have one of the best scholarships in the Southern Hemisphere. So I would start from there and, up your expectations a little bit from other universities as well. So there is a standard scholarship at the university, which is offered to all students. If you're accepted at the university, you will definitely get that scholarship. And that is around 15,000 New Zealand dollars, which is called a Vice Chancellor's scholarship. And 15,000 is roughly 7.5 lakh rupees. And it is offered for the first year of your education, and it's not a recurring scholarship. So it is one time, it is for the first year only, and it is deducted from your tuition expense. So 15,000 New Zealand dollars will be waived off from your tuition expense. Okay, so this is something that is offered to all students if you're accepted at the university. You don't have to do anything about it. You don't have to apply separately. You don't have to do anything around making an application towards the scholarship. So your revised tuition fees automatically comes down to $25,000, which is 12 to 13 lakh rupees for the first year. All of you. So if you're selected at the university, if you're accepted, you get the scholarship. There is no criteria, because our admission criteria for CBSE is 75, for state boards is 80, for IB it's around 26. Across, if you get these scores and above, you get a scholarship. So that is 100% guaranteed scholarship. That is number one. The second scholarship we offer are international undergraduate students, where we include Indians and some other countries as well, not all countries. The second scholarship is an excellence award, academic excellence award, which is offered to students who are doing a bit higher than the students getting admission at a basic eligibility criteria. For example, I was accepted at a 77, but Surbi got a 94%. So for Surbi, we have a different scholarship over and above 15,000, but I will also be offered 15,000. So students with a minimum percentage requirement admission will get a 15,000, but students with a 90% or higher will be considered for an additional $35,000. So $35,000 are in addition to your $15,000. In total, it becomes $50,000, which is way up than your tuition fee of the first year. So how we divided it in the program is that we take away 3 years of accommodation from your budgeting, and you just have to pay for tuition. So we waive off your living expenses completely for 3 years, and you study at the tuition cost only. So that is Academic Excellence Award. And for that, the requirement is that you get a 90% or higher from CBSE, ICSE. State Board is, I think, 93. From IB, it's 40 out of 45. We include TOK. And what else? For Cambridge, the A levels, we accept all 3 A's in the top 3 subjects. That is a requirement. But the admission criteria would be 2 C's and 1 B. So, if you've done better than the others, if you have gotten a 90% above grade in your class 12th, then you would be considered for a better scholarship than others. So it is completely up to you. As if you are able to score better, you will get a better scholarship worth 25 lakh rupees for 3 years total, and your living expenses completely are waived off within that scholarship. So that's another one that we offer.
I think it is great to hear, Riddhi, because see, education across the board, it's becoming very, very expensive, right?
Right.
So such kind of scholarships are really, really amazing. And I think if the student is deserving, they can study at an excellent institution at just like a very minimal cost as such. So thank you so much for shedding light on this aspect.
No problem.
Okay, now let me take questions from the audience itself. And again, I know there is still some lag, and I'm just trying to do my best here. So please, everyone, bear with me. Unfortunately, as I mentioned in the start, my internet is sketchy today. So we'll try to make the best use of whatever we have as of now. Okay, so this is from Tarang. So Riddhi, actually, I understand why this question is coming. So he's asking that if I start in July intake, is it that I will miss out on 6 months of course? Because I think you mentioned Feb being the main intake.
No, you'll not miss out on anything, because for students who will be completing in May, can come in July, which will be the first intake for them, or you can come the next February, not the February in the same year, the next year's February. So you're actually not missing out, you're actually ahead, 6 months ahead of the other students, because you'll be starting in July, and the others will be starting in the following year's February. So you're actually early. But just clarification, both intakes have nothing to do with each other. It's not like you're ahead of someone or you're behind a program. It's not like that. It's very independently run. So it's just the time of the year that you decide to come in. The program is completely independently run, and you're not behind or ahead of any program. So you don't have to worry about that at all.
Great. Then there is other question. I think it might be kind of a follow-up itself. So if I want to study post-grad in US, will the 3-year degree from New Zealand a restriction for me?
Well, it depends, because sometimes, some of the universities wouldn't want to accept it, but we're a world recognized university. It's not like, we're a private college or a private institution. So I think if you have aims of studying at a different university for masters and they have a requirement of 4 years undergrad, I think you should look into that specifically right now, because some universities don't make that exception, while some would consider, because like India, UK, New Zealand, even Australia, every other country has a 3-year undergrad degree for most programs. So it'll be a bit of foolishness to not accept degrees from a world recognized university, and that to a very well ranked university. But if you are bent towards that mindset, I think you should double check and then make a call, because otherwise I wouldn't want you to understand all of this after you've done your degree. So you are accepted at most other countries and most other institutions. In fact, even if you would want to follow up in New Zealand, we accept all kinds of 3 years degrees. And in fact, our master's degree is also 1 year than the US's, 2-year degree, and it's much more affordable. So weigh your options, see at possibilities of what you're intending to do. And honestly, I mean, I'm just going to be a little bit more candid here and just share a piece of wisdom. Don't look at masters right now at all. Just focus on where you're getting into for undergrad. All of the other things will fall into place as and when. You just have to figure out what's happening at the moment. If you plan too much, there is a slight chance of getting disappointed or anxious or restless, just because you're not getting there. So your 3 years of undergrad plus those worries of what will happen in masters if I don't get accepted is not the best option at the moment. So keep it at the back of your head. Find out options where a 3-year degree would be accepted. Most universities would actually accept it, because US, you have a lot of options of doing PhD also right after undergrad. So if that is a requirement and that is why they accept 4 years only, you can easily take up an additional honors year with us and do a 4-year program. So you don't have to actually graduate just in 3 years. If you want to get an honors or a research additional year at the university so that you qualify for US masters, you can do that. So that is always a possibility. But I'm just saying, for now, just see what program you like, which university attracts you more. All of the other decisions will fall into place as and when you get to the university, because there are so many people you'll be talking to. There are so many classmates from other parts of the world. Interestingly, for our campus, for Otago's campus, we have the maximum number of US citizens and North American citizens studying at Otago. And that is that is a very, very funny story, because a lot of our students, from India would want to get into US universities, but actually US students are coming to New Zealand to study. So, well, where actually, the interest is. And if you just, follow what your passion is, all of the other things would fall into the right place. So don't worry about all of that at the moment. Keep it at the back of your head, research a lot about all of these things, but don't worry, I think it's just waste of time to do that.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Riddhi. And if I can add something from my side, Mehak. So, see, what happens is generally there is a course credit mapping, right? So, if within the 3 years you have actually fulfilled the course credit requirements for the specific master's program for that university, then it is not an issue as such. Even UK, it predominantly offers 3 years degree as such, and many folks pursue US educational pathways after that as well. And generally, what is done in this case when you are at that stage is something which is called as WES evaluation. You get your transcripts evaluated, and they will really provide the details around whether you meet the credit requirements for that other universities or not. So nothing to worry as such, but it is something which is always a possibility. And I don't think so that should be a major concern. But yes, things vary university by university, course by course. So you will have to get the evaluation done at the right time. Okay. I hope that helps in terms of easing any kind of anxiety if you have built in as of now. But as Riddhi said, it's like if it is far fetched, then maybe just focus for UG as of now. Okay, Riddhi, now let's get into something which is after the educational pathway is over at the university. So basically, what are the career prospects for international students who would graduate from University of Otago? Like, I know you might be having career services, but what kind of internships or co-op options are there, and what happens after they graduate?
Valid question. Thanks, Surbhi. Well, at the university, we have a career readiness, development center where all of our students, enroll in the first year of their undergrad and would want to take up services in terms of how can they better their CV, how, what are the kind of roles that are available in the market in terms of internships or part-time roles. Because a lot of times when you start exploring options for undergrad or options to explore internships or part-time roles, you actually end up really liking that organization or company and follow up with a full-time job over there. So all of these decisions are very crucial and very sensitive for us as well, because you're starting out as a fresher in the country, and you wouldn't know anybody. So it's not like, oh, one of my friends has a company or one of my friends' fathers has a company and, I'm just joining that. It's not like that at all. So we make sure that we introduce you to the right kind of people. We are able to find you the right kind of roles while you're studying at the university, because all of our programs would have an unpaid internship component where you learn a lot. It is very much like a co-op, but not in terms of a paid option for a co-op. So it's an unpaid internship, but gives you a lot of perspective to your program. You can understand that a lot. In fact, one particular day in the week is dedicated for you to get your internships and practicums done. So you get an option to explore within the area of your specialization, and the university supports that immensely. So from curating your CV to finding the right kind of roles to publishing what opportunities there are in Dunedin that you can explore. In fact, from meeting our employers each year at our career fairs, you can also build those connections. Like I said, we're a very small community, and in a small community, only networking thrives. You can also see that the country, because the size of the country is so small in terms of population, people connection and networking is it's imperative to be learned. And from a country like India, when you're coming in, you can't expect yourself to talk to every person that you cross or meet. So it is very, very different, completely opposite of how we are in India or Indian community. But in New Zealand, everybody is important, and you need to get yourself out there and talk. So I think we kind of teach those skills. The soft skills are something that we really emphasize on when somebody comes into the Career Development Center. And moreover, you have so much to do at the university in terms of student clubs and societies. So there are other aspects of your university life that builds or inculcates those skills into you. So it is just that you have to be open to exploration. You have to be open to witnessing a lot of things that are there in the country. And I think that kind of helps a lot with making the right networks, understanding the demography, understanding the economy, and thereafter getting yourself a good job opportunity. And the university completely, I think, takes full responsibility into getting students a very good role in the country. So you can be rest assured about that. But something that the university expects from the students is that you work on your soft skills, that you work on who you are as a person, because a lot of dynamics change when you enter New Zealand's socioeconomic groups. So you have to evolve with the kind of community you're with, and that is expected out of from students. And other things, I think the university takes care, so you don't have to worry about that. Yep.
Thank you so much, Riddhi. I know we are at 12:30 already, but can I go ahead and ask my last question for today, and then we can wrap up?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, okay with me.
Okay. So, what common mistakes have you seen students have done, like when they are applying to New Zealand universities and particularly your institution?
Well, I think because application is no brainer at the university, so not a lot of mistakes there. But I think the students, sometimes, not always, but sometimes, mix up the programs. So just select the right kind of course that you would want to study. Following up with that, just see what requirements there are of that particular program, because sometimes if it's a little higher requirement and you don't see that, or you're not qualifying in terms of subject areas that you took up in 11th and 12th, that could be a problem there. But yeah, I think so far there's nothing that students do wrong in terms of application, because it's a very simple process. You just have to put down your grades from school, and that is about it. So just make sure you select the right course that is for you, and you check the requirement. That's it. Apart from this, I don't think there's anything else.
Okay, got it. Thank you so much, Riddhi. And I believe that is a sign of relief as well for students, because if the process is simple, it really, really helps. And depending on the country, as I said in the start as well, the process becomes nuanced as well, and there are chances of making errors too. But anyhow, thank you so much for providing all the information today. It
No
was very,
problem.
very insightful. And of course, you answered so many questions of our audience as well. So thank you once again.
No problem. And I'm happy to be, at such a platform where the students are so comfortable asking questions and open to learning. So I'm glad you were also able to take out, some time from your weekend to spend here learning. And I hope and wish you all the very best for your future endeavors. So all the best and take care.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a good rest of your weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.